What's up, everyone? My name is John Bossi. I'm a lifetime drug-free natural bodybuilder. So I say bodybuilder, but this is actually the first time that I'm getting ready to compete. And so essentially what's going on is this is kind of the culmination of, I'd say, a good decade of my training and just knowing that I was interested in competing in natural bodybuilding and just putting it off, I guess, right? You know, I love training, but the thought of dieting and getting ready for a show was always really exciting, but just kind of one of those things where I don't know, it's just hard to bite the bullet sometimes, both in terms of just all the effort that goes into it as well as just thinking that you're worthy, I guess, you know, that you're actually able to be competitive. And so I guess what I want to make this vlog about is kind of how do you know when you're ready to compete, or what are the things you should look for? And obviously this is just my personal perspective on that, but I think it has some decent lessons. So I guess I'll just kind of jump right into that. So why did I decide to compete now? Basically, it's just a matter of, I'd say, both financial, mental, emotional maturity. And what I mean by that is, if I had considered competing, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, right? People are always telling me, guys go, oh, come on, you should compete, oh, you should compete. And, you know, see people at shows and, oh, you got plenty of size and this and that. And, you know, that's kind of doing it for other people's reasons, right? And as obviously that feedback is nice, but as you kind of think about it and you have those second guesses on your own, you kind of wonder, you know, is this really a good time for me? And so when I think back on those periods of my life, you know, I've gone through times where, you know, everything was right to a point. I only ate certain foods, and, you know, all the same bro stuff we've all probably done at some point, you know, only chicken or only broccoli. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those plans specifically, but just not having that flexibility for real life. You know, now I'm running my own business, and that pretty much consumes all my time. And so, you know, if I wasn't flexible, additionally, just little things like I was just out at the California Natural Muscle Mayhem, had a booth there. I would have never done that if I'd you know, prepped 3-4 years ago. Oh, I can't go travel. You know, the world's coming to an end, right? Because I'm not gonna be able to sit at home like a hermit and do my bodybuilding prep. Whereas now it's kind of like, you know, I mean, obviously those things, they kind of get in the way a little. They might slow your progress slightly, might not be 100% optimal. But reality is, I mean, we all need to live our lives, and bodybuilding is just one part of that. And so to be at a point now where I can have those little things in the way, I went to China in May, presented at a conference. My background, just briefly, so I have a bachelor's in exercise science. I'm an NSCA certified personal trainer and a master's degree in sports dietetics, a registered dietitian. And so was there presenting at a conference, an academic conference, and same thing, right? You go all the way on the other side of the world in May, which, you know, when I'd originally thought about competing, I was competing in September. And so, you know, oh my gosh, a few months out, I'm going across the world, what am I going to eat, and are they even going to have gyms, do they even lift, you know, stuff like that. And so all those thoughts are on my mind. But again, I just had the emotional maturity to where I could deal with it and I could balance it all. And sure, maybe it wasn't 100% optimal, but I mean, come on, let's get real and live our lives. And, you know, obviously I'm not gonna squander opportunities just to put something like bodybuilding first when you're just talking about, you know, a trophy. And it's really all about the journey, not about winning per se. It's all about self-improvement. And so just kind of those things, right? Being able to tune out others, do it for your own reasons, feeling as if you've trained long enough to develop a reasonably impressive physique to present on stage, and then just most importantly, just I really think that emotional, I guess financial, just kind of overall security and maturity to have flexibility to balance the other aspects of life, to not get totally consumed by the prep. It's easy to happen sometimes. We're all a victim of it once in a while. And again, it's really not to say here nor there if that style of kind of all in, everything in life revolves around your prep is right or wrong. I just think for many of us, we want to have good balance in our lives. And so when we're at a point when we're able to do that, then I think that's the time to consider competing. And that's why I've chosen now. And I guess I'll just close on the note of, you know, how do you go about deciding when that actual show is going to be? So obviously I'm sitting here spouting off as if I'm some kind of expert. That's another reason, honestly, why initially I've never wanted to do vlogs like this, because, you know, despite my academic background, you know, you could consider me fairly knowledgeable on bodybuilding and fitness and nutrition and all that. I don't know, I guess I'm just a humble person and always I don't know, so-and-so's fitness or so-and-so's nutrition, and that's not to put any hate on anyone out there. There's a lot of great content. We all have a place here in this industry, and there's a lot of great information, but I don't know, I always like to try and be different. It's the same thing like with my company, PR Products, patenting new stuff, new noticeable improvements on existing stuff. And so my thought was always, I don't want to do video logs to just be another good mind providing content. And so I'll say this with the caveat that the reason I started this here is, one, I guess I'll admit it's been a little grueling the last few weeks, and kind of, I guess, having this accountability where I'm like, you know what, put myself out there, I'm competing, let other people know, let people follow along, hopefully learn. So somewhat selfish reasons, right, to motivate me. But then additionally, honestly, just because I have plans for some really cool, unique content that I'll be putting out once prep is done. And that's not to say that I couldn't start doing this now I'm in prep. There's just so many things going on. I've really tried to plan out what I do and don't want to engage myself in before and after prep in terms of growing my business and just overall presence online, I guess. And so the really unique stuff that I feel like is unlike anything you're going to find on any other channel, that will be coming as soon as I'm done this prep. I figured I may as well start now, kind of putting myself out there a little bit, so perhaps maybe there'll be a few of you that are knucklehead enough to want to jump along and follow what we get coming out for content. So I'm starting now. Can't say that I'm bringing anything remarkably new to the table except just another real person giving a real account of their prep. I think I got some good advice and tips, and then again, like I said, the really unique content's coming in the future. So that's my other rationale for getting this going now. Beyond that, I already am thinking to myself, like, I'm going off on a tangent here. I probably lost some of my original train of what I was going to talk about, but I think that's some of the reality of just being real like this. This wasn't pre-scripted. I have a little note or two written here, but just this is real. This is raw footage. Me sitting at home reflecting on what I'm about to get myself into. So final words on those of you that may be interested in starting to follow along. Basically, I started a very, 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 very slow prep all the way back in September of 2012. Honestly, I didn't even really move the needle on the scale until, say, November or December. And now, originally planned on doing the KC Classic in Kansas City. That's an an NBF show for an IFPA Pro Qualifier. And that's September 14th. There is still a chance I may do that show. Reality is, this is coming back to the whole maturity thing, that I've just kind of gotten to a point where I'm okay with saying, you know what, I already booked my flight, but it's only $75 to transfer it. Why not just wait and wait several more weeks till a show that I'm a little more ready for? And I'm okay with that. And again, if this had been several years ago, it would have been like, oh my god, like, I chose that show, I have to do this show, and like everything else in my life would have suffered to go on this just crash course, must be ready for this show. And it's like, why do that to yourself? I mean, if you're in the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl or something, it's like you have to be ready on that date, and that's just the way it is. With bodybuilding, luckily we have the flexibility to not have to do that. And so, to me, it's just more realistic, right? Those people, they're able to put it on the line like that on a specific day, specific time, with no excuses ever, because, I mean, look how much they're getting paid, right? Us natural bodybuilders are not getting paid anything. We're doing this for the love of the game and, for our own self-development and improvement. So, to me, it's just a matter of waiting till I'm ready. So if that's another 3 weeks, cool. If that's another 6 weeks, cool. That's why I set myself up to be in striking distance sometime during the fall season. And so that's where I'm at right now. Again, maybe doing the KC Classic, but probably going to push that back a few weeks. And I'm emotionally okay with that. And I'm glad that, again, I've waited to this point in my life to consider competing, so that way just kind of have the emotional stability to weather all those ups and downs and things. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I think I have a much more clear head on all that, and hopefully can offer you all some tips and learning things that happen along the way. I've already I'm starting late, right? So again, the big part of starting this was, oh my gosh, now I need a little more motivation because I'm starting to feel just how real a bodybuilding prep is. And so in some ways I'm behind, right? Everyone's missing all the stuff that happened between last September and now. But what I'm going to try and do is, there's definitely sticking points along the way where I change something or I learn something. I think a lot of you are going to find the info really interesting, I hope. I think I do a lot of things kind of unique, but for good reason, and I'll always try and explain why. So what I'm going to do is basically to provide new content rather than just, hey guys, this is me, I'm prepping, I'm tired, this is what's new. I'm going to try and instead kind of recap, like, hey, week whatever, this is what happened, I did this. Hey, week whatever, I learned this and I did this. So kind of a little bit of reflection to give, I guess, meaningful content, right? To me, it's like you go through periods 4, 5, 6 weeks, and not that it's not worth checking in, but the overall info and really golden little nuggets of advice kind of only come once in a while. I think those aha moments. And so what I'm going to try and do for you all is recap those moments when they occurred in the past. And hopefully that gives you a decent summary of where things have been. And then obviously if you're interested, you can follow along from here all the way till show day, and hopefully we do something worth watching. Been working really hard, training, eating, living the lifestyle for, gosh, a good decade now. So really excited to finally compete and put it all on the line and see what happens. So again, thanks for following. Again, if you start following now, I think you're going to really like some of the new content that comes, not just this vlog of the prep, but everything that's going to be coming out in a few months after I'm done prep. So follow along. Hopefully you all can learn something. Feel free to comment, critique. By no means perfect, still learning like everyone else. So thanks for watching. See ya.